Ah, Prager U, my old nemesis.
Ward Cleaver, the iconic father in the 1950s TV show Leave It to Beaver, is a stud.
Now I'm going to look past the subtle homoeroticism of that statement, and let's look at the man himself. Who is this arbiter of who is and who is not a stud?
I'm quite serious. And no, this isn't about nostalgia for America in the 1950s.
Look at this fucking doughy bitch. Okay, dude, alright, so you're the arbiter of who's a stud. You know, you've heard the expression, it takes one to know one. Well, you should not be telling anyone whether or not they're a stud. No offense.
This is about a man of his time, yet timeless. But to appreciate him, we first have to get past the noise. A loud corner of American culture has been rebelling against the image of the 1950s since, the 1950s.
Well, what happened after the 1950s, the 60s, and the 70s? Which, if I recall correctly, are where second-wave feminism was prominent. So instead of saying American culture, why not call feminism out? Oh, because you're gynocentric, that's right.
Most of that scorn has been directed at the Ozzie and Harriet image of American suburban bliss, and specifically dad. Well, enough already. Can we at least entertain the idea that in the rejection of that stereotypical 1950s suburban dad image, we threw some metaphorical babies out with the bathwater?
Okay, I'm listening. I actually agree that when second-wave feminism, and especially third-wave feminism, became prominent, the balance between men and women became so gynocentric, it just shifted so hard towards women, that men don't benefit from relationships with women anymore. Let's get back to that culture where men and dads were revered, where they were the head of their household.
If today's men modeled Ward Cleaver, America and the world would be better places.
Okay, what about women? I mean, yeah, men could pretend to be Ward Cleaver. They can go back to that 1950s model, but the world has changed. We had second and third wave feminism. Men have no rights in a marriage. They have no protections against a woman completely destroying their life. Why should they model their life after an archetype which doesn't exist anymore because society has changed? Relationships and marriage have changed. You can't just pretend the 60s through the 2010s haven't happened. Just keep pretending it's the 1950s. And there's no such thing as no-fault divorce, the tender years doctrine, VAWA, or any other bullshit that puts the law completely in the hands of the woman. That's fucking retarded.
Sure, compared with current pop icons, he comes across as boring and buttoned down, but it's a very incomplete picture.
No, there's nothing boring about being a responsible adult. The problem isn't the man. The problem has never been the man. The problem is gynocentrism. And you, by ignoring women, by ignoring gynocentrism completely, by focusing only on the man, you are part of the problem. That's the problem with gynocentric traditionalism, which you represent to an absolute T. You are simply the other side of feminism. You want to disempower men to keep the family going. Well, there's nothing in it for the man anymore. Why don't you put women back in their place, and then men will have an incentive to go back to that 1950s archetype family? But you won't. You don't call women out ever because you're so fucking gynocentric. You don't want men to keep going through the motions and pretend it's still the fucking 1950s. That was 60 years ago. There are people who have died of natural causes who don't even remember that world.
Of Ward Cleaver, we can also say this. He's a man who takes care of business. He doesn't make excuses. He doesn't whine. He doesn't brood in defeat. He knows that his hard work and persistence will eventually win the day, if not this day.
And that assumes that the system isn't completely rigged against him. Talking about not whining and brooding in defeat and believing that your hard work will eventually pay off. Tell that to the men who have their children taken away, their assets taken away, and are told to support their horrible wife for the rest of her life. Tell them their hard work's going to eventually pay off. And that they shouldn't whine and brood in defeat. Fuck you. You have no compassion for these men who are being railroaded by the system. You don't give one fucking shit about them. You're calling them whiners? Tell them they should just man up and believe that their hard work will eventually pay off? Just keep getting married. Just keep getting married. Don't worry about the last 60 years. Just keep getting married. Oh, your children got taken away. Your income got taken away. You're a wage slave. Oh, boo-hoo, man up. Fuck you.
And there's a lot he's simply outgrown. He never had any interest in perpetuating his own adolescence. He's a grown-up who accepts marriage and fatherhood as the life of an adult.
And here we go again. Just give up your dreams, everyone. Just give up your dreams. Oh, you like these things? You like playing music? You like playing video games? Well, fuck you. You need to give up your dreams. You need to get a real job. You need to support this woman and her kids. That's what your job is as a man. You are an ATM. You are a wage slave to support this woman and her children. Children she can take away at any time. You still have to support them. When she takes them away to live in your house while you live in your car, while she fucks other guys in the house that you're paying for, with your kids in the other room, you're doing the right thing. You're being a good man. Fuck you and your dreams. Fuck you and your freedom. You exist only to serve as an ATM to this woman and her children.
Now, we can quibble about his methods, but we can't dispute that he loves his wife and kids, and they know he loves them, and that he tries to do what's best for them, usually pretty successfully. What is not in dispute is that he's the man of the house, and he wears that title with pride, and everyone, including his wife, likes that fact.
That's great that she likes the fact that he's the man of the house. But society doesn't allow him to be the man of the house. Society demands that the woman share equally with the man of the house, even though she doesn't contribute shit. When a man is only allowed to be in charge at his wife's permission, he's not really in charge. She's in charge. She's just allowing him to play the role. Oh, honey, you're so wonderful. You're such the man of the house. Yes, yeah. Oh, kill that spider. Reshingle that roof. Wash my car. Oh, you're the man of the house. Let me make you a sandwich. It's all a show. It's bullshit. A real man of the house has authority over his family and his wife. Authority that has been completely stripped away. Ironically, since the 1950s. I wonder if these two things are connected. I wonder if the stripping away of male authority has led to the erosion of family values in this 1950s archetype. I wonder if there's a connection. I wonder if in 2016, the reason why men aren't getting married is because they have no incentive to get married because the situation is so gynocentric.
Like all human beings who have ever lived and whoever will live, these men had flaws. But in the end, they were solid and dependable. If you had to summarize them in one word, that word would be responsible. Maybe they seem like such throwbacks now because so much of our culture has thoroughly embraced irresponsibility.
Oh no, men are still responsible. They're responsible for the children that the wife takes from him. They're responsible for the single mothers they have to pay taxes to support. Men have always been responsible. It's women who have embraced irresponsibility. They get all the freedom, they get all the authority, and they get none of the responsibility. All of that is still laid squarely on the man. Now, do you have anything to say to that? No. You think you're standing against feminism, you think you're promoting traditional family values, but you're only promoting gynocentrism through a traditional lens.
But if you ask women what they really want in a man, or at least those women who have outgrown their adolescent fascination with bad boys, they may not say Ward Cleaver, but they'll describe most, if not all, of his traits. Reliable, trustworthy, smart, confident but not smug, funny and capable of laughing at himself, a man who's successful at work but not a workaholic, a man who likes children but is not a child himself, perhaps most importantly, devoted to his family. It's an indisputably masculine figure, and make no mistake, that's what most women want and what all children need.
It's so masculine to be a utility for a woman. Just serve the woman's interests. Isn't that so masculine? Is there any word about what feminine virtues a woman should have to attract a man? No. No responsibility is ever placed on the woman. No, it's the man's responsibility to be what the woman wants and to submit himself to the woman and to live his life for the woman. Because we gotta keep society going one more generation, just keep having the babies, just keep having the babies. Fuck your dreams and your freedom. Let's hear what the women's corresponding responsibilities were in this idyllic 1950s society. Go.
Now, I'm not saying that the Ward Cleavers of the world are off limits to criticism or even mockery. I'm just pointing out that there was a time not that long ago when men were expected to work hard, be good husbands, neighbors, and friends, to raise children, and to act as role models for the next generation.
Nothing to say. Okay, you know what? I'm not even surprised. At this point, I would be shocked if Prager University actually did a video addressing women and their need to be responsible. Their need to go back to the 1950s archetype. I would shit my pants. Shit my fucking pants if Prager U did a video addressed to women promoting traditional family values and responsibilities for women. I know you're not going to do it, but there you go.
Sure, laugh at them, but remember they are what our world is built on. And here's where Ward Cleaver fits in today, where he's never gone out of style. Not really. Getting married, being a father, working your way to owning a home, these are probably the best things that will ever happen to most of us.
You notice what's missing from that list? Things like accomplishing your dreams, living a meaningful life, being free. No, none of those things. No, getting married, being a father, working your way to owning a home. Those are the things you need to aspire to. Submit to a woman, support the woman, buy the woman a house. And whatever happens after that, if you get divorced, you get your kids taken away, get this house that you work so hard to afford, if all that gets taken away from you, well, at least you can look back and say you lived a meaningful life because you got married, you became a father, and you bought a house, all of which are now with the woman. Congratulations, you served your function, now you can go die in a gutter. Society has no further use for you. Thank you for playing, your cash and prizes will be collected on your way out.
Our culture snickers at Ward Cleaver types, but it is propagating a falsehood when it paints them as stifled, miserable, hollowed out men, yearning for their carefree bachelor days and regretting their commitments. What leaves a man depressed and hollow inside is not attachments, but the lack of them.
I used to think the worst thing in life was to end up all alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people that make you feel all alone. That was a quote from Robin Williams, the celebrated actor who killed himself because he was driven to suicide by his ex-wife. An ex-wife who imposed exorbitant alimony payments upon him that he couldn't afford without taking project after project. He wanted to retire, he wanted to quit, he wanted to enjoy his time off that he earned, but he couldn't because his ex-wife demanded his money. So he worked project after project and eventually just killed himself because his ex-wife just wanted so much of his money, it drove him to fucking suicide. Now who do you think is more depressed and hollow? The man who's single and free, has the world at his feet, can do anything he wants, achieves his dreams, and doesn't kill himself? Or the men who end up like Robin Williams because they followed this cuck's advice?
Consider this. If all the slackers in the world disappeared tomorrow, the video game industry would collapse. But if all the Ward Cleavers of the world disappeared tomorrow, civilization would collapse.
This is a minor point. I don't want to harp on this too much. You assume that people who aren't married, like MGTOW or just single guys, are a bunch of slackers, that we just sit around and play video games. And you know what? I do play video games. You know what I also do? I also have a job. A lot of MGTOW have successful careers and contribute positively to society. It's just that when they get off work, they go home to their house, play video games, or watch anime, or whatever the hell they want. They're free men that can do whatever the hell they want. You know who the real slackers are? But you don't have shit to say about them, do you? You don't have fucking shit to say to them.
I'm Jim Garrity of the National Review for Prager University.
And I'm Turd Flinging Monkey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.